Hey, it's Sandra. Welcome to another episode of Asexualise, my asexual life. This is a space to be for education about asexuality, all things asexual, and I share my asexual life journey in order to help you in yours. So if you haven't already subscribed, what are you waiting for? Hit the subscribe button and the bell icon right now so you never miss an episode. So tonight you may have seen my shorts videos, or yesterday, should I say. I've been out until like 2. I didn't get back till like after 2 a.m. So I went out with the meetup.com group, the 20s to 30s group, and they were having a meal and then going on to a pub. And then sometimes they go to a club, but the pub, they do karaoke. I'm not good at singing. So I sometimes do a little bit of dancing to some of the songs they sing. Anyway, I'm going to cut a long story very short and get to the main points. So I noticed there was a guy due to go to this meetup.com event who I had encountered at the beginning of this year. I don't know if you remember, but I think I told you there's a Pakistani guy at the very beginning of this year, and it was for New Year. I saw him at New Year Revolution. I don't know if you remember that. Anyway, I think there was twice I've seen him, but he lied to me because he said that he hadn't smoked and he does smoke. And the reason was because he wanted to kiss me. But I could tell that he was a smoker and couldn't kiss him, but he lied about it. That's a problem. And I've always said on this channel, if a guy can lie about one thing, he can lie about anything. And he just wasn't really that interested in me, I didn't think. So anyway, we were connected on Facebook, but because it didn't work out and because he lied, and I don't like people who lie, and I didn't think he was very interested in me, I blocked him on Facebook, but I didn't block him on meetup.com because I knew he was part of the meetup group that we are both part of together. So I didn't block him on there because I thought it might happen to be that one day he shows up at a meetup. So 6 months later, because I haven't seen him for 6 months, he showed up at tonight's meetup, and I saw him on the list of people attending. But I don't think he knew that I was attending because on meetup there is a picture of me, but it's quite like kind of like hazy because it's like nearly a black and white sepia type picture on there. And also I had a symbol on there as my original profile pic, and for some reason when I comment, it still comes up with my symbol. So I thought maybe he didn't know that I was going. But anyway, so I turn up at the event and he was there on the table. I said hi to him and he said hi back, and that was it. And I knew that if he was going to be there, there would be likely some predictable behavior from him. I've learnt with Pakistani guys and foreign guys in general, particularly Pakistani guys, they have like patterns of behavior after certain instances. So the fact that he lied and he wasn't good in the end and I blocked him, right? Like, how does a guy behave when they've done that to a girl, right? So anyway, I thought he's either going to ignore me and chat other women up to try and make me jealous, probably, or he's going to speak to me and then want to go clubbing again with me because he liked clubbing with me before and dancing close to each other, that type of thing. So I thought he's probably going to do one of those two things. I was prepared for either one because obviously this guy hasn't been honest with me. So, but I know there's chemistry between me and him. And so that I thought of what I was going to do if either of those instances occurred, because I thought probably one of them was going to. And both of them occurred, actually. So that was really interesting. Like when we were in the pub, he said, I said hi. I don't think he knew I was going. And he's like, hi, he looked a bit surprised. And then he moved off the table and went to another table. So he purposely like was ignoring me, I believe. And then I saw him like chatting another girl up. And I thought it was quite funny because this girl later on decided she wanted to dance with me. It was hilarious. So yeah, I don't know if the girl I don't know if the girl fancies girls or something, because she went to when we went to so we had this meal and everything was I had a meal, sorry, and there's other people, and in this particular place, which I took a shorts video of earlier, he was, like, basically ignoring me, I felt, because he moved tables. He didn't have to move tables, but he specifically moved tables. I kept saying, "Go out," so I thought, "Oh, you're going out for a cigarette." But yeah, one of the girls he was chatting up, or the girl he was chatting up, was funny because when we were moving from that venue to another venue, which is where they do karaoke, and I can't sing, so I prefer club music as well. A lot of the karaoke stuff's quite old. Um, but I do like being around those people, so even though they're not asexual, it's still nice. So anyway, yeah. So when we're walking to the other venue, this girl who I saw him chatting to before, she was talking to this guy and me, which was quite funny. But then when we got to the karaoke, you can do a bit of dancing, like to the tunes while people are singing. So I was doing that, and then this girl, like she looked like she was going to put her arms right round me and dance close with me. And I was thinking, are you a lesbian or is this just your culture? 'Cause she looked like she was from China or Hong Kong, but luckily my bag was in the way between us. I don't mind dancing with women, but like being close like that, to me, it's like what a lesbian would do, not something someone who is a straight girl would do. So yeah, but I get women fancying me, girls fancying me anyway, so I never know what, what's happening. But anyway, yeah, I did get some hugs off some other people today, which is interesting. Um, like, it was like there was one guy who hugged me, and he hadn't seen me for ages. So, but I was trying to remind him of our previous conversation, and I said, "Yeah, I'm the asexual girl who doesn't like sex, and you love sex." He's like, "Oh, yeah, I remember now." I said, "And you were surprised why I don't like sex, and I'm happy I haven't had it for years." And he's like, "Oh, yeah." He's like, and he was saying like he drinks, he's like, "Oh, I drink, take cocaine, and have sex, like all the addictions." I'm like, "Yeah, I don't do any of that. I don't smoke, I don't do drugs, I don't have sex." I'm like, it's like I said, "You're the opposite of me." He can't understand why people don't like sex, right? This is like the first this is not the heterosexual guy that I danced with before. This is another guy who I was chatting to before. So he can't. I said, "You can't understand why I don't like sex," and he's like, "No," and I'm like, "I just not interested. I don't like it." I said, "I can be my true authentic self though, and I don't give a shit what people think." I said, "You're doing all this sex, drinking, and cocaine, or whatever you say you're doing." Like, I didn't even know he takes that. But I didn't know if he was, like, joking about that bit or not, but it seems not. And I said, "You do all those type of things because it's addiction and you can't be your true authentic self. That's what you're doing them." And he's like, "Well, yeah, I can't be my authentic self." I said, "Exactly, you should just be your authentic self, and you wouldn't have to do that stuff." Anyway, so we go to the karaoke, we go to the place, the pub that's karaoke, and I was just talking to other people, and then this guy, the Pakistani one I'm talking about now, the one that I haven't seen for 6 months, the one that lied previously, he then decides to finally pluck up the courage to stand next to me and actually ask me how I am. So, because I was just, like, ignoring him, because if he's gonna ignore me and not speak to me, especially move tables purposely, then I'm not gonna speak to him unless he's gonna speak to me. There's no point, right? But anyway, it was good because he did pluck up the courage to talk to me and ask me how I was, and we had a polite conversation, and that was nice. And I was pleased for him how he's progressed with his career. He seemed pleased for me. He's moved homes now, like I've moved homes, and he seemed to be like getting his life together more. So he said to me a little while later, during the end, towards the end of that conversation with him, because I had to go to the toilet, that, "Oh, if you want to go clubbing, I'll come with you." Because he said, "Oh, are we going to club later?" I said, "Well, usually sometimes they do." I said, "But that's not usually till midnight." And I said, "And these songs are quite old and I love clubbing." He's like, "Oh, if you want to go clubbing, I'll go with you tonight." So I already predicted that he was going to ask me that. Because don't forget, I'd already predicted he was going to chat women up, ignore me, and I'd already predicted he was going to ask me to go clubbing with him. So both of the predictions came true. Both of them is quite interesting. So I was like, "Okay." So I said, "What, you want to go now the timepiece. You're asking me to do a timepiece. And it's like, well, yeah. So I said to the organizer, I'm going to timepiece. Now, obviously, I'm going with a liar. I'm going with someone who I can't get emotionally attached to because he's no good for me. And unless he changed his ways in those 6 months, he's still gonna be the same guy. So I noticed a few things of his life had changed. Like I said, he had moved homes. He's got something much more self-contained now. He's got his career more sorted. But even in conversation, he said his dream is to move to America. So, and he's only got like a year and a half left here on his visa by the sound of it. So, yeah, which is completely different to what I want, obviously, because I'm not interested. And he smokes, but he lies about smoking, unfortunately. And so anyway, I did go clubbing with him. I made a conscious decision before he even asked me that I would go, most likely with him, because I like clubbing and I just was very consciously aware of myself to not get hurt by this guy again because he is not suitable for me. But I thought I can still have a nice time with him, probably to a certain extent, going clubbing. And I really wanted to go clubbing anyway. So it's quite an easy thing in the sense that I already made the decision before he even asked me what I was going to do. I wasn't anxious to meet him again because it's been 6 months. So before I went, I was a bit anxious about it. Quite a lot anxious, probably. I got some other things I'm anxious about at the moment. But when I saw him, it's fine. Like, after he stopped ignoring me. So anyway, yes. So anyway, as we were walking, he did hold my hand in the street, which was good because that was something I mentioned to him last time. Because last time I actually saw him, he wasn't holding my hand in the street. But as soon as we got to the actual venue, he stopped holding my hand. And it's like, okay. Until later on. So we were dancing together. We were the only ones on the dance floor for quite a long time. It was really quiet in there. And so we were doing separate dancing, and then after some time, he decided to hold my hand and then finally hold me close to him. And he said, "Oh, I've missed you dancing, like you're the person I've missed them. I missed you dancing. You're the person I like the most to dance with," I think he said. I'm like, wow. Excuse me. I'm like, wow, it's been like 6 months since we last danced together. He's like, yeah. But he's missed dancing with me. But then he was trying to kiss me. I was like, I can't kiss you if you remember, because you're a smoker and I can't kiss a smoker. And he's like, oh, we kissed a lot before. I'm like, no, we didn't. You kissed my neck and stuff before, but I didn't kiss you on the lips. I just went like that and that's it. I can do that again, but that's all I can do. And he's like, oh, but why can't you just kiss me? He's like, oh, I haven't smoked since like 12 p.m. I'm like, midday. I'm like, I've seen you outside. Like, you went outside smoking with the other people. He's like, oh, no, I didn't do that. I'm like, well, they're my friends, so I can just ask them anyway. But it's obviously he's lying. He literally, you can smell the smoke through his skin. He must smoke that much. You know when someone's actual skin smells of smoke, like you can smell it through it? It's like, oh my God. It's not particularly nice, that. It's a shame because he has a nice face. So anyway, when we went clubbing, he was trying to touch me in places I don't want to be, because he's like, oh, I'd like us to be dancing partners. And I said, I don't know about that. And then he was trying to touch me in some sexual place. So I said, don't touch me. If you're going to dance with me, do not touch me here. Do not touch my breasts or my bum or down there. And then later on, a little while later, he still tried to touch up here. I said, don't do that. Otherwise, I can't dance with you. He's like, why don't you like it? I said, don't like being touched in sexual places. And I said that I'm asexual. I said, I told you this before. I don't like sex. He goes, I remember. I said, exactly. And I said, but you're sexually attracted to me. I am not sexually attracted to you. And he did admit he was sexually attracted to me. So I'm glad he admitted that, because at least he told one truth, And I said, but I'm not sexually attracted to you. I'm attracted to your face. I'm attracted to you aesthetically. And he's looking like this. I said, your face? I get attracted to a guy's face and frame, like these shoulders bit here, like this and this. That's what I'm attracted to. I'm not interested in genitalia. So then we were talking, and I did say I have had sex in the past, but not since 2011. It wasn't a bad experience, just I'm not in. And he said, oh, do you not like it, or you're just not interested in it? I said, both. you know, and he's like, "Oh, do you think it's just in the mind?" I said, "I can't bring myself to have sex anymore. I don't like it." And even, looking back in the past, I was born asexual but didn't realize it. And I said, with one of my exes, we didn't have sex for like 2 or 3 months. And I said, and that's one of the reasons why I stayed with him. So I stayed with him for the wrong reasons because we weren't compatible in other ways, you know? But that's why I stayed with him in a relationship. One of the reasons. But I did love the guy as well, you know? So, and I said, a Bangladeshi guy cheated on me within 3 weeks because he wants sex. I said he was a hot Bangladeshi guy, but I just couldn't have sex with him because my mind wouldn't let me go there. That's when he said, "Is it just in the mind?" I'm like, no. Looking back in my past to childhood, I was always asexual, didn't realize it. I said that even one of my ex-boyfriends told me he knew I was asexual before I knew it. And he looked at me and like, oh, I said, so I don't get sexually attracted. I'm not interested in genitalia. And then he started to get bored. Like I told him about friendship. I said, you're not even looking for a relationship anyway. And he's like, oh, I am. I said, yeah, but you can't have a relationship if you're going to move abroad to America like in a year's and a half time or whatever. And he's like, oh, but the girl will come with me. I'm like, but I personally don't want that. He's like, oh, we can travel like all over the globe together. I want to travel the world. I said, well, that's not what I'm after. I said, we're not compatible because we both want completely different things. I said, I'm not interested in traveling abroad. I'm not interested in living abroad or traveling abroad. I said, I went to Paris once. I said, Disneyland Paris, I love. Went to Paris once. It's so boring. Yeah, we're just incompatible, and he basically agreed, but then I could see he was getting bored. We weren't close anymore by this time in terms of dancing together. And I could see he was getting bored. He was looking at his phone. We did show me some nice pictures on his phone and video footage of a like outside event that he attended, like outside rave or club event or something. That was nice. But I said I have health needs, which means I can't go to lots of places anyway. And he said, oh, but I could tell he was getting bored and he was looking. And then he said, I've got to get up early for work tomorrow. And when someone's lost interest, you can just tell. And the reason he's lost interest is because I'm not sexually attracted to him and I don't want sex. And he said that he likes sex. I said, exactly. We're not compatible. And he's like, but I haven't had sex for years. I'm like, yeah, but that's another thing we did discuss. I said, love is not the same as sex. He's like, yeah, it is. I said, it's not. He goes, in some cases, I said, it's not because you could have sex with someone you don't love. And he's like, well, I haven't had sex for years. And I'm like, yeah, but if the opportunity presented itself, he's like, yeah, if someone, because I said, like in a club, you might meet someone. I said, not me, because I'm not interested in sex. And he's like, well, yeah, if someone wanted to do that from a club, then, but I haven't had that opportunity. I said, exactly. You haven't had the opportunity, but you do it. I said, besides, like, the healthiest relationships, the relationships that last the longest time, are built on a strong foundation of friendship. And it's like, why do you say that? I said, because it's true. I've got experience of this. And unless you are really invested in that person as a friend, like their best friend to you, it won't work. Become unhealthy because when you're best friends with someone, you have a vested interest in their welfare. You care about them. You're less likely to have an affair because you genuinely care about the person and you genuinely want what's best for them. A lot of people in relationships are, all think of themselves all the time. But when you're in a relationship with like someone who's your best friend, then you're less likely to be selfish and more thinking of the other person's feelings like your own. I don't think he totally got it, but I was trying to give him some wisdom that is true. But I don't think he's ready to fully accept that yet. I just think he's not at the mature stage of understanding that, For him, it's just sexual attraction with me. Because he was getting bored then. He was like, talking about like wasn't close to me or talking about like he needs to get out for work. And so what happened is he then went and got a drink and I said, I'm going to the toilet, and then he disappeared. I predicted that he probably is going to do that as well because I noticed he said, oh, I've got to get up early tomorrow. And then he started getting bored because I'm not sexually attracted to him. He's bored because I'm not the girl for him. Like he doesn't value my worth as a person much at all. because if he did, he'd be interested in staying and talking to me and dancing with me as a friend. But he's not interested in that because he's sexually attracted to me. And this is why it's so difficult trying to explain to heterosexual guys that I'm asexual. I'm not sexually attracted to that person because they think, because my behavior is similar to theirs, that I'm sexually attracted, and I'm not. I'm not sexually attracted at all. I have no need, urge, or want for sex with him or any other guy. I just don't get that way, you know? And so it's really hard trying to explain it, you know? Like I'm trying to say, don't put your hands in places I don't like because I don't want that, you know? So it was an interesting evening. And then he left. So he basically abandoned me. Didn't say sorry or anything like that. He was already blocked on Facebook from the previous time. But at meetup.com, the messages are still open there. So he could have got back and said, sorry, I abandoned you. But yeah, he's not that good a guy to be able to do that, unfortunately. So yeah. Anyway, yes. So what happened after that? So after that, I stayed and danced on my own, which I love dancing. It was my favorite club, so it was no problem for me. And then there was these two foreign guys, and much, much later on, when I'd been dancing on my own for a long, long time, this guy came up to me and said, "You're the best dancer in the whole of this floor, you know, whole of this club." And I'm like, "Thank you." So I ended up going down because someone spilt a drink as well on the top part where I normally go, the stage part. And I didn't want to damage my leg again because my leg's still like a bit sore and it's still getting better from shin splints. And it held up a lot actually. It's loads better than it was, but I can still feel it's a bit sore. So, and I didn't want to slip because someone literally like dropped their drink. It went everywhere, all over what the area I was in or just in front. I had to go through it to get off that bit or go around the other way. So it's too dangerous for me. So I changed where I was dancing, and then these two foreign guys were dancing with me. They're older guys, particularly one of them. But this older guy says, "Oh, you're the best dancer here," and I'm like, "Thank you." So I like dancing with them. And the good thing about that is I enjoyed dancing with both of them. I got two for the price of one, if you know what I mean. Because there's two foreign guys. They're from like Saudi Arabia, I think it is. Somewhere like that. I think he said he's Saudi. Well, one of them, I think it's like that. Is it Saudi Arabia or South? I think it's some Asian country or something. I don't know. One said Dubai to me, and the other one said something else. So anyway, I can't remember now. But anyway, they seemed like I think they still were sexually attracted to me a bit because they kept looking at my boobs a little bit. You know when someone keeps looking down. But anyway, other than that, I liked dancing with them because they were respectful in the sense they weren't touching me, they weren't making sexual comments, they weren't trying to put their penis close up to me like the younger guy was. Yeah, the younger guy, the Pakistan guy, he was putting his body really close to me and getting a sexual thrill out of it. Through clothes, obviously, but you know, when a guy's going that, I'm like, I knew what he was doing. I knew that and I just said to him, "You all right?" Like I didn't know what he was doing. Ah, you know what I mean? But I was very careful because he was turning me around a bit and he was behind me, but I was trying to keep my bum from squishing into his bits quite a bit because I thought I don't really want that. Not tonight. So yeah. But anyway, yeah, it's just very difficult when you're trying to explain to a heterosexual person that you're asexual what it means. You know, like I'm an asexual person who has had sex in the past. And I just don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to do that at all, you know? And when a guy's just sexually attracted to you, he will lose interest quickly if that's all he's interested in, because you are saying to him, you're not going to have that. You're not going to do it. You don't feel that way. Therefore, there's nothing for him to stick around if he doesn't value you as a person. And clearly, he doesn't value me as a person, which is a shame because I'm a nice person. But there you go. So, yeah. But it's his loss. I'll probably see him again at the meetups sometimes, you know. So, I think it's better to be on speaking terms with him than just that deadly silence, really. I had some nice time when I was dancing with him closer. Some of it was good. He was kissing my neck. I like him kissing my neck. It's nice. But obviously he does smell of smoke. I can smell it on him. So yeah, but he was trying to give me a love bite at one point. I'm like, don't do that. So yeah, it's very interesting. It's hard because as an asexual person, I do love intimacy. I do love kissing. When I say intimacy, my intimacy is kissing, but I couldn't kiss him because he's a smoker, or cuddling, holding each other close in an embrace, this type of thing. And as an asexual who's romantic, I kind of really crave that sometimes. I crave the closeness, the physical touch, the in a good way, not in sexual places, you know? It's kind of hard when you're a romantic asexual and you still want that intimacy, that physical touch, that cuddling, you know? I don't know how to describe it, but that's me just describing it. So yeah, it was a very interesting night. There was something really good earlier because I was talking to this guy and he was talking about his girlfriend. And I like that because he brought up his girlfriend early on in the conversation with me. So I know that he's serious about her, because guys who are not serious about someone, they don't bring up the fact they got a girlfriend, but he did. And he was talking, and so I'm like, how long have you been together? I think, did he say 8 months or something? I can't remember. Yeah, 8 months, I think he said. But they're talking about moving in together, but I said I prefer living on my own. But I said, if you've got deep emotional connection and like spiritual connection might work. And he said, yeah, we've got a really deep emotional connection. So sounds like he, when he was talking about his girlfriend, it sounds like they're very supportive of each other. So it's nice to hear of a healthy relationship. I don't think there's not many around, but that was good. So that was someone who I hadn't seen for a while at the meetups. So that was interesting. Meetups get very busy. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed going. It was nice to speak to some different people this time, or people that I hadn't seen for a while. There was a few new faces as well that I didn't know at all. But yeah, it's so difficult when you're asexual and you've got someone in front of you physically and you're trying to explain to them, I'm not sexually attracted to you. Not because he's probably really sexually attractive to quite a lot of women who like his look. I think it's harder for some foreign guys sometimes in the UK because I think there's less people attracted to them, in the sense that, you know, a lot of people over here are attracted to British people in the UK, you know, whereas I'm attracted to foreign guys, you know, that look Indian, for example. So yeah. But it was an interesting night. I already predicted baby, so I already worked out what I was going to do. Because if you are going to let someone back into your life that's lied to you, you have to understand, one, they've probably not changed. Two is how much physical closeness you want with someone who's previously lied to you, and they're probably going to lie to you again. You know, you've got to understand what you're doing consciously, you know? So anyway, it is tough when you're asexual trying to explain you don't experience sexual attraction, especially as I've had sex in the past, you know. I'm just not interested in that. I'm really not. You know, my life is so much better without sex in it. Anyway, I hope you found this video useful, helpful, insightful. If you have, pop a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an episode. Lots of love. Take care. Bye.